No, I'm not serious, but I'm not sure at all.
You ready?
All right. It's 5:36. We call the committee meetings of the Port Allen City Council to order for April 5th, 2023. At this time, I'd like to request everyone either turn off or silence your electronic devices, please. Thank you. To begin, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you call your meeting order, I'd like to request that we have a moment of silence for Hootie's brother who recently passed away, Jay Riviere. If we could just, for a moment of silence, take a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll call the Public Safety Committee in order to establish a quorum. May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Riviere.
Here.
Ms. Lacy.
Right.
Ms. Gordon.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Item number 4, the Police Department report. Chief Hicks.
Good evening, y'all. How y'all doing?
Hey, Chief.
Mayor, leading Public Safety Committee, in order to keep both yourself and the City Council aware of the activities of the Port Allen Police Department, I offer an account for the month of March, 246 calls, alarm 29, assistant Port Allen Fire Department 9, disturbance 19, death 12, check person 12, Port Allen Fire Department medical 34, information 14, incidents by location, northeast of Court Street, LA 148, northwest of Court Street, northwest of Court Street, LA 175, southeast of Court Street, LA 149, southwest of Court Street, LA 155, south of I-1018. Total number of suspects arrested 17, traffic crashes 38, and traffic tickets 38.
Anything else for Chief Hicks? Anything else, Chief?
Yes, council, about a month ago, I gave y'all a packet. In that packet was a packet for license plate readers. I think would be beneficiary to the city. The parish has gotten on board with Flock. That's the name of the company that supplies the license plate readers. Addis is on board, Brule is on board. City is the only one that hasn't gotten on, we haven't gotten on board, so, but I did put that in my budget to get them for this year coming up. And I have Mr. Thomas Dole, the Flock Safety Representative, to come here tonight to speak to y'all to inform y'all more about the license plate readers.
Thanks, Chief. Hi, I'm Tom. I am the Louisiana rep for law enforcement sales for Flock Safety. We are a ALPR company based out of Atlanta, Georgia. What our flagship product does is a stationary, one-directional license plate reading camera. It's a vehicle motion detected camera. It takes a still photo of every vehicle that goes by and allows the police department to search back 30 full days on a rolling 30 days. And we can start to basically allow them to search out by make, color, vehicle body style, license plate information, whether it's in-state plate, out-of-state plate. If they have information that the plate started with a certain number or a letter, they can use that as a wild card. and it essentially will filter out all of the other vehicles to allow them to do their investigations. What it also does is it's essentially integrated with the NCIC crime database. So anything on a national registry for open warrants, stolen vehicles, missing persons, anytime somebody goes by one of our cameras, within 1 minute, users are notified one of 3 ways. Number 1 would be to have up the flock system. That's the fastest. That's usually within 6 to 10 seconds. The second fastest would be at the user level via an SMS. The third level is an email. So we don't limit the number of users. We understand that there's different people within the department that use it differently. And all of this is because the police department is CJIS compliant, so we work with that. The cameras are powered by solar. They are connected by typically AT&T FirstNet, so it's a cellular connection, so they're essentially infrastructure free. That is all included in the annual price. It is a subscription model, so it is not a situation where we will sell you the cameras and say good luck. We maintain them, we install them, we do the permitting. If there's a problem with them, if it's a lemon, if for whatever reason it's not getting reads at night, then we come out and maintain it. It's a pretty useful tool, and it's a different take on license plate readers in the past. The license plate readers are not any sort of revenue generating. They do not tell you how fast the car is going. They do not tell you if the car has gone through a red light. They do not tell you if the vehicle is out of date on the registration or their insurance. It is specifically a tool to allow the police department to do their investigations faster and protect the community as vehicles enter. We also allow sharing amongst any other agency that has flock across the country. There's currently 37,000 plus or minus license plate readers in the entire country. And so with Port Allen coming on board, you guys would be able to have access to search those cameras, build out a heat map per se of a specific individual if it pertains to an investigation, and share hot lists, share information. Really, it's a world of creating agencies working together. As far as a public safety and privacy concerns, I mentioned it's a rolling 30 days. So anything past the 30 days doesn't exist. It's deleted. It's not like you could call us and say, yeah, I know we only have 30 days to go back, but can you please tell me what happened on November 15th? There's no access to that data. Secondly, we do not have any way of searching the data. The data belongs to you guys, or you guys, the police department, and other agencies that are able to share. Thirdly, anytime a officer enters a search reason looking for a specific number of pictures that a camera hit, it is required to put a search reason. So one can't just, for instance, pick a camera that they're looking for just to see what's going on. That is fully auditable. It's not just the 30 days. That goes back to the minute that you start an account with Flock. And we even have the ability to make that customer for, facing the public. So if you wanted to look at doing a portal to allow the general public to look in and make sure that the people that are using our system are using it accurately.
How many locations was that?
Right now, I'm set up 4. The first 2 will be Avenue G in LA1, and the next 2 I'm gonna put on Court Street facing east and west.
And I can provide a couple more locations that the sheriff's office has done, or they have in plans going through DOT permitting right now. There are 2 more. They're on LA1 north of here. So, and for all the vehicles that are coming down from the bridge, last week we put a request in for 4 more that would be getting off right at the Lobdell exit from I-10. So all of those come in together, and they all work together. They allow people to, they allow the officers to build out information based on the investigations, and also use it a little bit differently than how a traditional LPR is used. The notifications via the hot list give departments the ability to protect what's coming in. So when Chief talks about LA1 coming off of I-10, as I mentioned, within 1 minute, if there's a stolen vehicle, they're gonna get notification.
And did you say like if they person has a warrant, any of that, all of that'll be,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
And it's based on the user. It's based on the user of what they want to receive the notifications for. So when they go in there, they can click if they want the stolen plates, if they want the open warrants. Sex offenders are on there. A lot of people turn that off because there's just so many of that. So
What will you be using it for, Chief?
Everything.
What's the, like, it's a subscription, what's the annual fee
$3,000 per camera per year.
per year?
$5,000 a year,
Full time person.
right now, for the four.
So that's the one-time implementation fee, the top part. So there's 4 of those at $1,250. So that keeps up with us going out there and installing. It's on LA DOT right away, so we have to meet their requirements. And then after that, it is a $3,000 per year price per camera. So the first year total cost would be $17,000, and then after that, since you wouldn't be paying the implementation fee anymore, it would go to $12,000.
And how often do y'all increase y'all prices?
One time since I've started. So
I just got a quote, it was 11.4, and then I received one today, it went up to 17
April 1st, that was our price increase.
this year.
Yes, sir.
Just so happy.
Now, who's gonna police the police?
Great question.
'Cause
So
I know with the state computer system, you have to take a test, and they got certain laws that it has to be investigating a crime in order to access certain data.
So as I mentioned, anytime a officer is putting a search through, they have to submit a request, or they have to put a search reason. If you see that they're doing searches where they're using things like investigation or demo as a search reason, then that's where we find red flags. As I mentioned, we can set that up to make it public facing so that anybody in the community is able to search that. But the search reason is our number one thing. We're also implementing a method to which we don't allow users to have generic email addresses, such as Gmail or Yahoo. So in order to make sure that the people that are still accessing it are active members of the police department, they would have to have a Port Allen email address. And that's also a way to make sure that when an agency signs up with us, they're not giving it to detectives on the state police. Everybody has to follow their own. So,
Being with the, I wanna ask this question, Chief. Being like with when you're not fully staffed, just say for instance, you have 5, 6 cars that just come through and have warrants, like, who's gonna stop those cars? Like, how is that gonna be handled if you're not like fully staffed, or only so, how, or you go back and tell me how that goes. Like, if say for instance, we have 5 or 6 cars that just came through, you know, this was about these 5 of these people now warrants. What do you do? What goes on then? How that go?
Well, everybody, the shifts that gonna be on, we try to have them up to speed, up to manpower, to intercept these people when they come through. Everybody's not gonna be caught, some gonna slip through the net, some gonna get caught.
I got a question. So this is a license plate reader, correct? It doesn't take any photos of the entire car, right?
It's only the back of the car.
Back of the car, okay, so do y'all track the success rate of information generated by this system in prosecutions? Because it's only gonna tell you who's the car registered to. It's not gonna tell you who's driving it. And quite frequently, those are 2 different people. So I'm trying to understand just, you know, have y'all done any type of research to indicate how successful this system is in actually leading to a successful prosecution for a crime? Are they numbers? 37,000 agencies, it would appear that you got a lot of data.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I don't have a firm answer on that. What I can tell you is the camera is not going to tell you how many people are in the vehicle. It's not going to tell you if there is somebody in the trunk. It is not a special camera. It doesn't have infrared. It is literally as if you're just putting an officer
In the license plate, right?
on that intersection and writing down all the information. Does it give them leads to start to work with? Sure. But there's a couple things. It's a vehicle recognition tool. So it's not only a license plate reader. So if a car goes by and it does not have a license plate, we're still gonna tell you that there is a vehicle and we still allow you to filter out information on that. We still allow you to filter out no plate. If somebody goes by that has one of those blackout plates that allows no plate to show up on a camera because they don't want a red light ticket, we're still going to be able to show you that a white Toyota Corolla.
Right. So the only follow-up is it's connected to NCIC, but there's no way to ascertain until someone goes back and reviews whether or not the plate is switched.
There's still police work that has to be done.
Exactly. Okay. Just curious. Thank you.
And I guess that would lead me to ask, Corey, I know you said that a lot of these other agencies are on board, and your reviews and feedbacks from them was like, that's what my question, kind of how have it helped them in solving these crimes or prosecuting, or that kind of, that's what I was kind of getting to.
Well,
How have it?
I got a lot of feedback from both Addis and Brewer. They said I could bring the assistant chief on Brewer next week, South Arm, and have him speak to y'all. And he said that it's been a tremendous help to him down the road. And Addis. They said they have solved a number of cases, numerous cases, for the LPRs.
So I have some numbers from Bruley. Give me 2 seconds to find it.
And so your goal into one of these cameras implemented is so to help your agency to better.
Secure the city, solve crimes, catch the bad guys.
What have we done about the crimes that have already been committed and the books that have been unsolved? What have we done about those?
Well, we working on that, Councilman, we working on it. It takes time, and we're working on it.
And that's probably what we'll hear about this and take time.
So here's some numbers from Bruley, and this is the same information that Southland would share. They installed Flock in November of 2021. They did numbers from 2021 versus 2022, and In 2021, they recovered 6 stolen vehicles that came through Bruley. 5 of those were after Flock was installed. In 2022, they had 26 cars that they stopped from with a stolen vehicle. They went from 9 warrant arrests in 2021 to 38 in 2022. And the one that I think is the best is their theft type calls dropped from 38 in 2021 to 14 in 2022. So what we're finding is it helps to protect the community and keep people out.
But as you said, still police have the work to do this.
There's still police work to do. We're a technology company
Yeah.
to help them do their job, but there's still police work to do.
And the 9 was 6 stolen cars in 2021, 22 and 2020.
It went from 6 in 2021 to 26 in 2022, and 5 of those 6 from 2021 were after Flock was installed in November. Now, Bruley's really one way in, one way out on LA1, so this is a little bit different, but with the coverage that you guys are going to have from the sheriff's office's cameras as well as these.
I don't know what the rest of it, but I'd be willing to say 26 stolen cars recovered. I don't know if any of them would have been, possibly a couple of them would have been recovered just by old-fashioned boots on the ground, but the cameras are the ones, so it's just the license plate readers. It is a benefit. Chief, if you could get some stats from Addis, and just like Lance alluded to, just statistics overall.
We have to rely on our men
Exactly.
and just making sure that we well staffed as well. Because we have turnovers that take place often, so
Sure.
all that make a difference.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Item number 5, the nuisance violation report. Inspector Gibber.
Good afternoon, council, guests, mayor. I'm trying to make my insurance. For the case of, for the month of March 2023, I had a total of 17 cases. One, 34-412, keeping the 1 yard. I had 2 34-8 D, doors and windows. I had 14 high grass, 1 of them closed, and 16 of them with no liens. I also have an update on 1120 Avenue A, both 1121 Avenue A that we condemned, and 1117 Avenue B, we condemned both of those. Both of those were torn down, but they're still in the process of hauling the rest of the debris off. I have 2 more that I had wanted to put on the list. Is 451 Harry Brown and 434 Michigan Avenue.
Lance,
Yes, ma'am.
the house that was torn down Avenue B, did the city tear it down or did the family member
The
do it?
family member took that.
Said 434.
434 Michigan Avenue. Yes, it's shared in the backyard.
And that's the house on Avenue B that the family was actually requesting more time for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
On the, another month, the containers over there. I talked with Front Yard Bikes out of Baton Rouge, and I had that number here if you want it. They'll take the bikes, and they refurbish them for disadvantaged youth.
Okay. Chief. What, about the bikes and,
None of them are even salvage. Everything is rusted and rotted. So maybe with Daryl, open it up and haul them off, scrap, maybe get something for them. But other than that, there's nothing in there salvage. The other container is a bunch of paperwork from City Hall. I think the mayor might want to go in there and look at it. Just box file cabinets, paperwork that was placed in there. So that'll be just called on that.
Okay, so y'all gonna just haul them off and for scrap?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, do you happen to have any updates with, the anonymous committee from Allen Street who's interested in the cars, the abandoned cars being moved and all of that?
I still have no more data on who that is.
I mean, it doesn't matter
That
really,
was-
I just wanna address their concerns. That's
Yeah.
like, I just wanna address their concerns and to make sure that the cars that's on Malin Street that they're concerned about,
Yeah.
that we look into the ones that are in violation.
Gotcha.
Because, by them just stating one vehicle, I think, that's kind of prejudice to me, like, you just can't do that. So when we have a bunch of other cars on Malin Street, so I would like to see those also, be looked at and possibly done whatever needs to be done to notify that they are also in violation,
Yes, ma'am.
no matter who it is.
Gotcha.
Anything else? Thank you, Lance.
Good. Yeah.
Item 6, adjourn.
Call to order. It's now to quorum. Roll call, please. Here.
Mr. Riviere,
Here.
Mr. Brown. Quorum for president.
Item number 4, discuss pay application for sewer rehabilitation project partly funded with Louisiana State Budget Appropriation from Mr. Tony Erica.
Thank y'all. I left some papers on in front of y'all. Essentially, this is is a sewer rehabilitation project we awarded in the late spring, early summer of last year. It's complete, and they're finishing up, their paperwork and asking to get paid. But let me they had a significant overrun, and I want to explain it. If y'all would go to your second sheet of that little set, maybe the one that has the colors on it, like the pink and green and blue. Yeah, the big drawings, the 11 by 17 drawings. And the sheet number 2. Essentially what this project is fixing sewer lines, and of course, patching the road after you fix the sewer lines, and it's a kind of a hodgepodge of little short fixes. When we did the project, we basically knew that, the city didn't have the funds to do all of these particular things, but at that time, I don't think they were considering the ARPA funds. The contractor was awarded it, and I think y'all also have this. He was awarded Sphinx Construction. He was awarded the base bid only, which is $174,290. And because of, concerns about cost and whatnot, you didn't have on-site inspection on this particular job. And the contractor started actually up on Michigan Street, which if you look down at your little color chart, he started with an additive alternate that wasn't actually approved. Then he came back down to Court Street and essentially started from the river, away from the river, because the river was getting high at that time. There were some point repairs and whatnot that essentially decisions were made where they and it's hard to explain, but you can imagine like we pat the pipe from this manhole to this manhole, we patch a piece here, we patch a piece next to it. If you have the funds and whatnot, it makes sense to obviously make it a longer patch rather than leave a 4-foot section in the middle, and I think that decision was made. All of these prices are unit prices, so like linear feet of pipe, square yards of asphalt, so all of it is accountable for. But obviously, since the additive alternates, both of them were basically done, he's got his request is for a significant sum. So if you look at in this little packet I gave y'all, and I apologize for all the paperwork. Let's see. He has a request. Let's just leave the right packet. He has a request for $132,000, and basically what that amounts to is the the overage above the base bid items of unit prices. And so you kind of have, I guess you can treat this several ways. He did obviously do the work. You did have unit prices, so he didn't change the unit prices from the thing, but at least on the piece on Michigan Avenue, he really didn't have authorization at the time. You could say, well, I'm just not going to pay you for that. And it's certainly within your legal rights. I'll just say that he did do it, and I know they needed it. I mean, the reason this was broken into alternates was because we just didn't have enough money. It had nothing to do with whether or not we would fix those things.
So you saying that Michigan wasn't involved?
No, Michigan was the first one the street he jumped on. He started with an additive alternate, is what happened.
If he did the wrong way.
And so, but I will say during the construction, he hit some water lines that y'all fixed. So, I talked to Aaron, and it sounds like there's either 3 or 4 instances. It's just kind of hard to, whether it was marked correctly or whatever. My recommendation, and certainly, it's y'all's call, is to go ahead and, pay him for the work he actually did, but subtract what I was thinking. If you have 4 point repairs, now 4 water line repairs, and you estimate that they roughly cost $3,000 a piece to fix, subtract $12,000 from his total, because the city had to expend that money to fix basically his negligence in that instance. None of the documents I gave y'all are signed, because obviously I want to talk to y'all and get y'all's input. This is basically, and you can see when you leave here, the patches in the middle of the road is where the sewer is and fell apart. And just as an example, if you look on Court Street, one of the additives is actually in between all the others. So, clearly you wanted to do it all. So, the contractor thinks construction. So I'm just, and obviously I'm going to present it at the next, at your actual council meeting. And the request at that would be, that you pay him, pay App 1, you award, you do a change order to adjust the final quantities, you grant him substantial completion, and you pay him pay App 1, which is obviously the quantities he did, less retainage. And at that point, you have the retainage to fix it. In the change order amount, I would put a line item that says basically repairs prepared, done by the city, and subtract the $12,000. That would be that's what I'd like to present next Wednesday. Any questions on this, y'all? I know it's kind of a convoluted deal, but,
I have.
Yes, sir.
I was watching this process while I was going on construction. And I'm concerned as to what alternatives that he did that wasn't part of the bid. I understand the only one that I'm aware of is the one from the post office where I spoke with the that's the contractor doing the bid. And he was complaining about the piece making in that it should be in one piece and not just piece making, because it's making it harder for him to do his job, and he couldn't break out the section that needed to be broken out. And that one was closer to a manhole, and that's the only one that I authorized to complete and put it in one section. As to any other additional work, I'm not aware of, but I did speak with Dion and I told him specifically that it's a grant. We need before and after photos, and then he was provide that to us.
And they contacted me today before I got to the meeting, and they said they had compiled them and they were gonna bring those photos, and they were also, I believe there's some material that they left at one of the city sites that they're gonna remove as well. And look, Mayor, I'm not disputing, I don't dispute, of course, we didn't have anybody on the ground, so I can't confirm or deny anything, but I have no reason to believe this contractor made stuff up. He did the work. Now, whether or not, you know, you wanna just say, well, you weren't approved, yeah, obviously, that's the city's
I'm not
stuff.
saying he made it up, but I need the exact figure of what he actually did.
His change order in the package y'all have is the one where I have it's a table where it has a couple, little pen and ink marks on it. Y'all, it's the, I must be giving away all of the stuff. You can grab this one. If you go to this last sheet. Glasses. That essentially is kind of a summary of what he did. If you look at the left, the current contract column in the middle, kind of sort of, as an example, for the 6 to 8 foot point repairs. The original contract was 16, and it ended up being 18. You know, and then if you go to the far part of that, you see that it is increased by 2. The one that increased the most was the deeper ones. And if you look at that column, that's row 3. He had the base bid was 250 feet, and they ended up doing 433 feet. And so that's the difference. I don't have the exact. I mean, I could go back and calculate where it is based on the depths, but I don't know off the thing. But that's where he summarized all his quantities. You know, obviously, we went back and checked what we could, which obviously is like square yards of pavement and stuff like that. But, you know, you can't obviously look underground. So that's how he came up with his number. If you look at that far right column, that's his number.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the 400 something feet. That's continuous,
Mayor,
and I don't even know if I got a section that long.
no, that would not be continuous. This would just be at that pay depth. None of these are a full, probably longer than 15 feet or 20 feet apiece.
But, and I'm not trying to justify anything, but I guess the way to look at it is, and I guess I agree with Tony in this respect, the repairs needed to be made, once we get documentation of it, yeah. Then,
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that before, we talk about a large sum of money.
Exactly.
Okay, and the other thing we talked about is back in June, we authorized to use, y'all authorized to use ARPA funds to pay for the balance. And if we gonna use ARPA funds, that means I got to have documentation showing exactly what was done, what was replaced, I got to have photos.
Exactly.
Oh, and Mayor, I wouldn't recommend signing or paying anything until you have the documentation that you requested, because, yeah, we have to have that documentation anyway, but I guess I'm basing my recommendation on that the contractor does what he needs to do for us to gives us the appropriate documentation. If he doesn't, yeah, he's not gonna get paid.
And the other thing, what we talked about too was we typically, we allow them to use our landfill, not the landfill, but our meeting to remove the sludge or the mud from the storm and put it on our property temporarily. That wasn't supposed to be a permanent fix, so, that needs to be removed from.
And I noted that for him. My hope is, quite frankly, that both the documentation and that is done before the next meeting, and I can report that. Because if it's not, I'm not gonna recommend y'all sign it.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
So is anything going on with them?
Yes, what needs to go on the agenda is basically the approval of change order number 1, and they call it final change order, substantial completion, and pay app number 1. And again, I'll report on whether or not we can receive the documentation, and I'll make it clear to the contractor. But if he doesn't give us that documentation, then I'll probably just ask y'all to pull it from the agenda.
Okay. Item number 5, discuss results of the Phase 11 road rehabilitation project bid process.
This is another, this is a bid we took on the 28th of March, y'all. You look at this 3-page deal. If you go to the second page, this is our annual road program, by the way. You got 3 bids. They were fairly tight. Barber Brothers, RJ Daigle at Barrier Construction. Barber Brothers was low at $357. This is a unit price contract as well. I think our budget was around maybe like $330 or something. So I recommend, and I'd like this obviously on the agenda, that y'all award this to Barber Brothers. They're, I guess they're one of the older contractors in the state. They've been around for 95 years. And they're, they do very good work. Any questions on it? No?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Item number 5, update on all pending public works projects.
And it's me again, I'm sorry. We actually have a lot of stuff I like to say going on, but we basically have a lot of stuff we're waiting on stuff for. The oldest contract we've been talking about is the control panel at the wastewater treatment plant for the effluent pump station. The panel is essentially built except for a couple parts they need to complete the panel. They expect those parts to come in June or sooner. If they come sooner, the actual construction will probably take less than 2 weeks. That is Armco, y'all. The next contract will be the dewatering contract. That's the dewatering box, along with the ancillary equipment. That was J&G Construction. They, of course, we reviewed their shop drawing on the box, and the box is supposed to get here by June. I'm trying to accelerate that. We may, the city may consider, you can rent those boxes, but obviously it's, at a cost until you get it, because I do know that the wastewater treatment plant really needs to get rid of some of their sludge. It's been a problem for a while. And the last one I think is Schutz Electric. They're doing the pump station generators and the big generator at the treatment plant. The pump station generators will probably come in a reasonable amount of time, again, probably this summer. I know that sounds like a broken record, but the larger one is basically going to probably take about 10 months to get. It's actually got because of its size, it has a Rolls-Royce engine, just like you have on a jet engine. But obviously it's high quality. Any questions on those, y'all? I really can't, we're in this quagmire of COVID and not having stuff. It's really hard to enforce liquidated damages on people when they really don't have any control on how fast they get their stuff. Believe me, they don't make extra money if they wait a year to do so. Any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you.
One other one, the, Earl lift station.
Oh, okay, well, that's not, I guess, a project, but let me just tell you that railroad lift station, we rebuilt, I'd be lying, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Put in new pumps, put in a new control panel, and they've had, they basically had two of the, the two VFDs burn up. And of course, a VFD, just like any other electronic part, you just can't go buy it off the shelf. So then the question was, why did that do it? The mechanical and electrical engineers that did the design, I sent over there and had them do, along with the panel people, Tesco, a pretty thorough review of what the issue was. And the conclusion was it wasn't really heat that destroyed those things. It was actually dust. And if y'all look at that pump station, it's next to LA1, and there was quite a while where, you know, from vandalism and stuff, the doors were unable to be closed, and you just got so much dust in there. Probably what happened was it clogged the filters on the panel, and that's what overheated it. Now, going back, and you know, obviously there's different schools of thought, but I don't maintain this stuff. But going back, you could go back with obviously the VFDs, or you can go back with soft start starters. Soft start starters are cheaper and they can come quicker. The recommendation by the electrical mechanical company was that we kind of basically do an architectural mechanical redo of the building with basically putting in more substantial HVAC and dust control, and then essentially change out those starters with soft start. They think that the cost of that would be somewhere in the order of $45,000, of which about 50% of it would be the building renovation, essentially. And I'll say I put VFDs in outdoor conditions that are god awful. This is just, you know, it's very unusual. And it took a long time, and I apologize it took us so long, but it wasn't simple to figure out what happened after the fact. Any questions on that, y'all? So the recommendation on that would be obviously use some of the ARPA money in repair, because right now you're paying for temporary pump.
Is that an item or?
Mayor, I think should be an item. And it's basically just authorizes to get proposals, because it's under 250,000, we wouldn't need any proposal. And it's essentially been designed because they had to design it to come up with the cost. Any questions on that, y'all? Appreciate it.
Item number 7, adjourn.
Community Development Committee. Community Development Committee. Item number 1, call to order. Item number 2, establish quorum. Item number 3, roll call.
Mr. Brown, Ms. Lacy,
Present.
Mr. Hubble.
Here.
One present.
Item number 4, update on community development activities. Mrs. Rhodes.
All right, committee members, members of the council, elected officials, and guests today, good evening. So excited about the month of May. Spring is here and everybody's excited about the beautiful weather and getting out, and the city of Port Allen has just been a host to a lot of great positive events going on, and I'm sure everybody know about the Easter egg hunts we've been having for young kids and young at heart last weekend, and the stuff that's coming up. And of course, we're in the middle of Holy Week right now, so we have a lot of religious events that are going on, and it's just a lot of things that warms your heart and bring the community together within the city of Port Allen. On Monday, the special appointed committee for the selection of an artist to commission for a mural on the juke joint at the museum met, and they did pick an artist. I think her name is Malika Favorite, and she has done some work at the museum, and everybody seems to be excited about her work, so we look forward to seeing that within the city of Port Allen as the events come up. And also, the month of April also, we host along with the Greater Baton Rouge area, the Blues Festival. And the museum locally will be kicking off that event on April 21st with the historical happy hour from 6 to 8 on the grounds of the museum. And Kenny Neal will be one of the featured artists, and should be an exciting day. So if y'all don't have anything else to do, or if you have something else to do, this would be a great event to go to on that evening in support of our local thing. Council-wise, on the 25th, we will have Municipal Day. Hopefully everybody's registered and gotten with the mayor on that. And of course, the big day that we've been planning for and working very hard for, I want to say the best to last, sandwiched in between all these wonderful events is our Heart of Champions celebration, which is scheduled for Sunday, April 16th. The event will feature a grand parade that will line up, of course, as we did last year at City Hall, and it will end at Wiggley Park. We'll be lining up at 11 a.m., going to kick off at 1. And we'll also have an evening of a lot of special events. After the parade is over, we'll have a program and other entertainment that will take place at William and Lee, and I think we've scheduled to go on till about 6 p.m., hopefully. And the committee is still meeting. We've got community support, a lot of community input, so that's very exciting. So we're putting all that together. There will be a float in the parade for elected officials and the parents of the athletes. So any elected officials that are here that want to ride the parade, please let us know. We make sure that we have a special spot for you. Just remember, you have to bring your own throws, and in selecting your throws, we'd like them to be family friendly. And we're going to put that message out to everybody that take part in our parade. Just let us know if you want to ride, so we make sure that we have a space for you. We'll have topics next week of the parade route. We changed it just a little bit, but basically in the grand scheme of things, it'll start at the same place and end at the same place, so we're excited about that. We're open for any other questions that you might have at this time concerning the Heart of Champions. We will hopefully during the presentation, the program has presentations to the winning team and the coaches, you know, just as we did in previous years. We got kind of used to it because it's so exciting. This is a back-to-back 4th year that the team has won state championship, and what is the 10th year the young women have won in powerlifting. So we're just so excited that our athletes are doing so many things to bring attention to Port Allen High School in the city of Port Allen. This is just so much fun, and it warms everybody's heart to participate in it. So we're very excited about this. So at this time, I can entertain any questions that you might have.
Rose.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I didn't get the announcement of April 25th. What is going on?
That's legislative day for the municipal legislative day
Okay.
over the state capitol. The mayor announced it last month. I hope you got your registration form in and you going.
Well, I'm getting the form, but I didn't.
Huh?
The mayor informed the mayor that I was going. I didn't
Okay,
get a
so he
form.
probably did it for me. I'm sure he did. But we can make sure that you're registered. And we can take part in that. Just excited about the things that's going on. It's working us, but it's good work, and we're excited about what's going on in the participation of everybody in the city of Port Allen. Anybody who want to enter anything into the parade, we have entry forms here for you. If not, you can pick them up downstairs and you pass it through the drive-in. You can pick them up upstairs. We have several other committee members that are, you know, Miss Charlene, Miss Clerice, and some other committee members that will have entry forms. We want everybody to come in and want to be a part of it. Just as long as they remember, make it family friendly.
That includes the music also.
Yes, ma'am. We are making sure that they know that we want, you know, I don't know how we'll get on that float and do some unplugging, but that's,
All we can do is request.
yes, ma'am. Is there anything else we need to take in? No family day in the park this time?
Yes, I see Councilman Gordon here.
You got something to say?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I didn't know you were finished after. Sorry. I got
You a part of this.
How you guys doing? Kenny Gordon, Councilman, District 5. I'm here to ask for a donation for Family Day in the Park on May 27th. We have $3,000 we asked for this year. Last year, y'all helped with the band, so we don't have the sponsorship that we usually get, so that's why it went up.
Well, we can't get donations, but you can identify what you need, so you don't have anything.
Normally, we have a corporate endeavor agreement that we put together, so we don't use the word donation.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but if you get with us, if you get with me before next week, we can put together everything that you need. So we can put it
Okay, I'll do that, then I'll have that back for you next week.
in. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Anybody, any questions? Item number 5, adjourned.
Call the Personnel Committee to order to establish a quorum. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hubble.
Here.
Ms. Gordon.
Here,
Mr. Riviere.
Here.
Quorum present.
Item number 4, report hiring of Terrell Rogers as a laborer 2 in roads and drainage at step 108, grade A.
Good evening, Council. This is just to inform you that I did hire Mr. Terrell Joseph for a vacant position. We got several positions open in roads and drainage. And Mr. Joseph put in Mr. Rogers put in an application, and he has prior experience in what we need in operating as Eagle Turn Board, which is a labor 2 position.
so that's the reason why he's goes from a step 108 instead of the step 101 like everyone else, and to labor 2 instead of labor 1.
Labor 2 is that step.
But what we were hiring for, labor 1 or labor 2?
I'm hiring for any position in roads and drainage.
And when was he interviewed?
He was interviewed probably last week or last.
Can we get
So,
on this department, I'm sorry.
so in labor 2, they start off at step 108 instead of 101 on labor 2?
The mayor starts them off where he sees fit that they fit that position. Labor 2 starts off at 108A, which is at the beginning. Okay, and based on
So when you certified for it?
well, based on the applicant's experience, is what I base this salary on. But this particular position starts off at 108A.
So he have experience in cutting grass and
What is
mower
required
and
in
all
labor
that?
2. Yes, ma'am.
Can we get just like this department, can we get a list of the current employees and the step grade that they're in now? And just so because I don't know how many people we got in here, and I'd like to see it. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's in the annual budget. Each year we give y'all that information, but if we want one available, we'll probably have to give it to you.
okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Okay. Item number 5, adjourned.
Finance Committee, item number 1, call to order. Item number 2, establish a quorum. Item number 3, roll call.
Ms. Lacy.
Present.
Mr. Hubble.
Here.
Mr. Brown. Quorum is present.
Item number 4, discuss the following promotions recommended by Chief Hicks. Lieutenant Casey Williams to captain at step 118, grade B, $56,826.54. Sergeant Donovan Mitchell to lieutenant at step 116, grade A, $50,532.69, with conversion to 80-hour employee. Sergeant Kendra Wisham to lieutenant at step 116, grade B, $51,543.35.
These are officers, Lieutenant Williams, Sergeant Mitchell, and Sergeant Wisham have been in this position for the last couple of years. They have done outstanding work. They have nothing bad to say about any of them doing their job, what I asked them to do, Lieutenant Williams asked them to do, they come out, they put 110% in everything they do. And I think they deserve none of these promotions.
They met all the criteria, it's like in the past, we.
Yes, sir. Everybody has fulfilled 2 years at that position.
That's how many years required for them to, complete?
2.
2 years?
Mhm.
And just for clarification, council, this item was submitted with Mrs. Wisham's information being 116 grade B. However, she received a step increase due to making 5 years, well, another 5 years with the department. And so she will actually go into step 116 grade C, which is 2% more than what this number is.
And was that the dollar amount?
Well, 2%, roughly $1,200. Give or take. Something of that neighborhood.
And Chief, is that a typographical error? See, you got one that's an 80-hour employee, you have another.
She's already.
Yeah, she's already, so she's already out on board.
It'll be 52, 574 Lacy.
And just make this a, agenda item for next week. Any questions? Item number 5, adjourned.
Thank y'all.
Mayor correspondence.
I have a couple of brief announcements, just as Rose explained. We got Municipal Day, April 25th. Everybody's aware, that's the day you have to go and visit the legislatures at the state capitol. And then afterwards, they have the crawfish boil at the shows. I have forms from the Lacy, O'Shea, and Gordon. Anybody else interested in going? No. The only difference is, as I explained, the city does not pay for guests, so if you have a guest going, you have to just cut us a check.
What about the guests?
Yeah, you can come without the guests.
You come with the guests?
Come with the guests, you have to pay for the guests.
Okay, and how much is it?
$30.
Okay.
If you're just going to the crawfish bowl.
Okay.
The other thing is, we are preparing for the 2023-2024 budget. Mr. Tom Adjourn will be speaking in the morning, and he will present the budget for next year at Wednesday's meeting. That will be an introduction. And this year, the revenues, sales tax revenues was real good. We had no deficits. We met our quota plus more. Hopefully that will continue in the near future. We have election season this year for the parish and sheriff, and next year we have our election. So he will present next year's budget. He will present next year's budget at next Wednesday's meeting. And other than that, that's it. I want everybody to have a happy Easter. Enjoy the long week. City Hall will be closed at noon tomorrow, and won't open up until that following Monday. It might be a little wet, but
Yeah.
Happy